But in recent months, it is here in Los Angeles where punk has taken on hardly harmless and distinctly violent proportions. A band from Hermosa Beach, California called Black Flag has earned a reputation as a group with a particularly violent following. Local punks often put much of the blame for violence inside and outside the clubs on either the police or a hardcore fringe element of punks. Since near-lethal eruptions had marred 3 of Black Flag's concerts earlier this year, we took our cameras for a first-hand look on October 24th when the band headlined the bill at an East Hollywood hall. But Black Flag barely got a chance to play that night. Only 1 hour after the concert began, the police were summoned. Why?
You know, these kids are willing to pay and come in and have a good time, and now they're getting out of hand because they want to close the show down. They came to see Black Flag play. The owner and the police said that we had to put a stop to it a half hour ago.
Why?
Because there's minors in there that are stoned. I mean, I think if things had been kept under control, if we had let people in and all the bands had played, I think we could have, this wouldn't have happened.
A lot of kids can't afford to get in, so sometimes they're hanging around outside, they get bored. Somebody says something and somebody throws a bottle, you know, or something, and that just starts it. And the police think that something bigger is going to happen. So I do fear that someone's going to get hurt. But a lot of people that get hurt is just because they like to fight, you know, and they're just, but they think they're having fun, you know, they don't really mean to.
Sergeant Whites of the LAPD.
The owner decided that he wanted to close the establishment, and he requested us to stand by. We did so, and the people that were inside with the group asked us to stand by and wait a couple extra songs. We did. We waited a couple other additional songs. They refused to close up. They refused to quit the music. We requested the owner to turn the power off on the music. He said he couldn't get to the music, couldn't get to the power, couldn't turn it off. They refused to leave. He requested that we go inside and clean up. He had received a lot of damage from the inside as to property. Therefore, we went inside and had the individuals that were inside exit the location.
Could you tell me what was just happening there? Was that blood on the floor? And what was this Zig Heil, Zig Heil? I mean, that to me brings up the Nazi movement. Is the punk movement part of the Nazi movement?
No, it's the police. That's the Nazi movement.
The police is the Nazi movement?
Yeah. It's a preemptive effort to stop the shows. It started 2 years ago. There was a gig in L.A. called at the Elks Lodge. That was the first time that happened. The police came, no provocation whatsoever, made an effort to stop the gig. They came in, there were no exits. A phalanx of armed officers came through and beat the living crap out of a lot of kids and told them never to come back. Okay?
Why are the police against you?
I think that it's probably because they're scared that it represents change. Change scares anybody who's part of an existing structure, you know, like families, anything that you got, your job, you know, your kids are walking the street.
Settled into.
Yeah.
You know.
Status quo.
As you might surmise, my guest tonight took part the other day in the film effort that we brought you, and I'd like to now introduce you to them. Daphne is Chuck Dukowski, who plays bass with the controversial Black Flag group. In a moment, we'll be right back with our guests to discuss the punk rock movement in Los Angeles and elsewhere in America. But right now, these messages. There's been a great deal of violence attached to the concerts of the Black Flag. Who's responsible for that? I mean, do you think the kids come because they know that they're going to get involved with something that's dangerous?
Yes, they go there for the intensity of the event. It's a tribal event. It's alive. The music is aggressive, okay? Yeah. Very aggressive, very violent music. It's an outlet. The actual violent acts are not present. There are very few fights. I'm up there on stage. I don't see that many fights. I'll see more fights in the bar across the street, spill onto the street.
Then how come we always see the police there?
But the action,
police don't understand it.
The action at the gigs is violent. It's very aggressive. People come there to get drained, to let that out. Hey, it's a desperate world, you know. I mean, maybe 4 years from now, it's all going to be gone. Yet people want to go on living, and they still go on and make plans, and, you know, maybe they're going to have kids or whatever. But living in the back of their head is that desperation. And the only thing that makes you feel better is to be so drained that it goes away.
Chuck, where do you come from?
I live in San Pedro. My parents were middle-class parents, and my dad works for TRW and designs communications satellites. I went to San Pedro High and then a private high school, Chadwick. I was on the varsity football team. I went to college for 4 years, majored in psychobiology, and now I'm here.
And you, Daphne? And I don't see many people walk around with a Tommy Hawk kind of a hairdo. I'm quite sure you'll probably say, well, many people don't walk around with my hairdo, but the point is, what do you folks say about this?
Well, they'd be much happier if I was busy breeding, right? But to be honest, there wouldn't be any place in the future that I gave up on for my kids. So I'm out making an effort to keep things moving, to keep change going on. My parents, at the same time, they admire me for doing it because they didn't do anything, right?
And you, Dad?
Well, it scares them, right?
Well, the Nazi swastika scares me, too, a little bit. I mean, because it represents something to another generation that really is quite fearful.
Yeah, sure.
The whole thing with all of that, the symbols and the leather and the chains, it's an effort to alienate the past, okay? And what scares the police so much about it is that it's a militaristic uniform for change or for just plain rebellion. Rather than going like this and holding a flower out to the cop, the kid's got spikes on his arms and a leather jacket, and he looks like if there were 50 more of them, they'd be very, very dangerous.
So in other words,
their activity is more aggressive, too.
It's one authority sort of threatening another authority, and the other authority doesn't particularly like being threatened?
No, it's people thinking for themselves and authority being threatened by that.
And also the...
In 5 years from now, you'll still be disrupting.
I wonder if Black Flag takes off.
Maybe not Black Flag.
But something else.
Who knows? Maybe I'll have a house and 10 kids.
Well, I'd like to thank you all.
I can't really look into the future that far.
I wanted to say
You can't look 5 years from now?
Well, I can look, but who knows? Maybe I'll be